After the Yellow Tape was created by Victim Assistance of the Fort Wayne Police Department in partnership with the Fort Wayne Police Department. Oftentimes, families have no idea what happens after the Yellow Tape is up and what's going to be happening with their loved ones' cases. This film was created because oftentimes the cases that we are portraying are cases that have not been solved and are missing maybe that one piece. So we're hoping someone who's viewing this show will be able to give us that one piece needed to provide justice to the families of those loved ones. So if you are watching the show and you know anything, even if it's something small, please reach out to our Detective Bureau at 260-427-1201. You just don't know what you might do for a case.
My name is Detective Brian Martin. I've been a police officer for the city of Fort Wayne for 20 years. I've been in law enforcement for a total of nearly 25 years. My current assignment is with the Robbery Homicide Division, and my specific thing that I focus on is cold case homicide as well as active homicides that are taking place and being investigated. I thoroughly enjoy this job, or I would not do it. This is a job that is a passion to me, something that I feel is very important in bringing justice to the victims as well as the families. I try not to use the word closure because I don't feel that you can ever have closure when your son or daughter or loved one is killed. It's just not a natural thing, and I see it as more as a way to get justice for the families, for the victim, and for our community. And it's a job I take very seriously, work with a great team of people, and every day is a new challenge, and that is what I love about this job. And the cold case we're going to talk about today happened on Tuesday, March the 25th, 2009, in this alleyway right off of the intersection of Harrison Street and Creighton. The alley is the first alley north of Creighton, and it runs east of Harrison Street. And this was a double homicide which occurred in the early morning hours. Fort Wayne police were called in reference to a shots fired call shortly after midnight. Patrol units arrived in the area, and when they began searching around, they located a green in color Impala, and in that Impala they located the two victims, later identified to be D'Anthony Lewis and Adam Tadeo. Mr. Lewis was pronounced dead at the scene, and Mr. Tadeo unfortunately died at the hospital a very short time later. In doing a neighborhood canvass of the area, officers were able to locate multiple people who saw what they described as being a maroon in color vehicle, possibly a Buick or Cadillac, leaving the area at a high rate of speed. This vehicle was described as possibly being manufactured between the years of 1985 and 1987. We'd be very interested in getting any information from any other witnesses who may have witnessed or heard anything about this double homicide, as it's important to bring that justice to the families, to the victims, and for our community as a whole. We're looking for anybody who may have been in the area, who witnessed, saw, or knows anything about the crime. Also that night, witnesses reported seeing a gentleman dressed in all dark clothing running towards the alley shortly after the shots fired call came in. That gentleman was located by law enforcement and was interviewed, and if anybody would have any additional information about any possible involvement by that gentleman, it would also be very important to call the Fort Wayne Police Department and provide that information. So again, this alleyway is directly north of Creighton and east of Harrison Street. As you can see, the alley is small. It has changed from its original look back in 2009 till today, but I would believe that anybody who has been in this area and familiar with the area would be able to help us out and possibly come forward with information. We're seeking any information that we can act on to, again, bring justice to the victims and the family of this case.
My name is Denise Tadeo. My son Adam Tadeo was murdered back in March of 2009. I am a mother. I don't know the whole situation of what happened that night. I do know it could have been drugs involved in it. Regardless, he didn't deserve to get a bullet put in his head. And his friend D'Anthony Lewis was with him. He has family also. We just need some answers, and if anyone knows anything, please contact Detective Brian Martin 427-1201. Anything, if it's big or small, any tip will help. A small tip could turn into a huge tip. So please, again, I miss my son, and being back here in the alley where it happened is really emotional for me right now. So please, again, if you know anything, please contact the detective department, 427-1201, Brian Martin.
So on March the 25th, which was a Tuesday night, shortly after midnight, both Adam Tadeo and DeAnthony Lewis were the victims of a double homicide in this alley off of Harrison and Creighton Street. The Fort Wayne police are seeking any information that we can get in reference to who could have possibly done this to Mr. Tadeo and Mr. Lewis. We're asking anybody with direct knowledge or anybody who has a tip in this investigation to please call the Fort Wayne Detective Bureau at 427-1201 or Crime Stoppers at 436-STOP.